Welcome back to Old Coins and Antique TV. In today's video, we're diving into the world of United States wheat pennies as we explore 5 of the most valuable and ultra-rare coins that continue to captivate collectors. From hidden historical significance to impressive market values, these small copper coins hold stories and potential worth that might surprise you. Let's take a closer look at these prized treasures and see what makes them so special. First up, we're talking about one of the most valuable and ultra-rare, the 1940 wheat penny without a mint mark stands as one of the most fascinating and highly sought-after coins within American numismatics, quietly captivating enthusiasts with its understated appearance and surprising potential value. At first glance, it may seem like just another old copper coin, worn by time and circulation. Yet for collectors, it represents a prized treasure that bridges everyday history with remarkable monetary worth. Its appeal lies not only in its age, but in the growing demand for high-quality examples, making it a coin that continues to draw attention from both seasoned numismatists and new collectors eager to uncover hidden value in seemingly ordinary pieces. Struck in 1940 at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the absence of a mint mark, this wheat penny belongs to the iconic Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909. Designed during a period when the United States was emerging from the Great Depression and approaching the global tensions of World War II, the coin serves as a tangible connection to the past. It reflects an era of resilience and economic recovery, circulating widely through American society at a time when even a single cent held meaningful purchasing power. Its production in Philadelphia, the nation's primary mint, ensured large output, yet it also ties the coin to a historic facility deeply rooted in the country's monetary legacy. The design of the 1940 wheat penny is both timeless and symbolic, contributing significantly to its enduring popularity. On the obverse, the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln faces right, accompanied by the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," embodying national values and leadership. The reverse features 2 stylized wheat stalks framing the words "1 cent" and "United States of America," a design that earned the coin its wheat penny nickname. Composed primarily of 95% copper, the coin carries a rich reddish-brown tone when preserved well, measuring 19 millimeters in diameter and weighing 3.11 grams. In high-grade condition, the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait and the fine lines of the wheat stalks create a striking visual appeal that elevates its desirability. While the 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny was produced in large numbers, true rarity emerges when condition and subtle varieties are taken into account. Most examples found today are heavily circulated, often showing wear, scratches, and discoloration. However, coins that have survived in uncirculated or near-mint condition are significantly harder to find, especially those with original red luster. Additionally, minor dye variations, repunched minting details, or strong strike characteristics can further enhance collectability. This combination of condition scarcity and subtle uniqueness drives strong demand, as collectors compete to secure the finest examples available. In today's market, the value of a 1940 wheat penny without a mint mark can vary dramatically based on its condition and visual quality. Lower-grade circulated examples may hold modest value, but in uncirculated condition, especially with vibrant red surfaces, prices can rise substantially. High-grade certified coins, or exceptional specimens with strong eye appeal, have been known to reach values ranging from $1,000 to $8,000, depending on their rarity and preservation. This steady appreciation reflects both the coin's historical importance and the increasing interest in high-quality early Lincoln cents, making it an attractive piece for collectors focused on long-term value. For collectors seeking to add this coin to their collection, careful attention to detail is essential. Prioritizing coins that have been professionally graded and authenticated ensures both quality and legitimacy. It is advisable to examine the coin's surface for original luster, minimal marks, and strong design details, particularly in Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks. Purchasing from reputable dealers or established auctions reduces risk, while proper storage in protective holders helps preserve the coin's condition over time. Engaging with collector communities and staying informed about market trends can also provide valuable insights into identifying premium examples. Beyond its established value and collector appeal, the 1940 wheat penny without a mint mark continues to gain momentum as a standout piece for those who appreciate coins that combine subtle rarity with historical depth. What makes this coin especially intriguing is how easily it can be overlooked in everyday collections, yet under closer inspection, it reveals layers of importance tied to its era, craftsmanship, and preservation quality. High-grade examples with full original red luster and sharp strike details are increasingly difficult to locate, adding an element of challenge that captivates serious collectors. The 1940 wheat penny without a mint mark represents a compelling blend of history, artistry, and rarity that continues to captivate collectors worldwide. It stands as more than just a piece of currency. It is a preserved fragment of American heritage, offering both aesthetic beauty and tangible value. As a prized collectible with steady market demand, it rewards those who recognize its potential and appreciate its story. For numismatists, pursuing this coin is not just about ownership, but about connecting with the past while investing in a piece that holds lasting significance. And secondly, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable U.S. coins. One of the most intriguing hidden treasures in American pocket change history, the 1946 wheat penny. At first glance, it may look like just another old copper coin, but as you'll soon discover, certain examples of this coin can be worth far more than their face value, making them highly desirable among collectors and investors alike. The 1946 wheat penny holds a special place in the Lincoln Cent series, not because it was the rarest by mintage, but because of its historical timing and the unique characteristics that can turn an ordinary coin into a highly valuable collectible. Minted in Denver just after the end of World War II, this coin represents a transitional moment in U.S. history. While millions were produced, only a small fraction survive today in high-grade condition, and even fewer exhibit the striking qualities and minting anomalies that can push their value into impressive ranges. This combination of history, condition sensitivity, and hidden rarity is what makes the 1946 so appealing. To truly understand this coin, you have to step back into 1946, a year marked by recovery and rebuilding after the war. The U.S. Mint resumed normal coin production using traditional bronze compositions after experimenting with steel cents in 1943 and shellcase alloys in 1944 and 1945. The Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, producing over 315 million wheat pennies that year. While that number might seem high, it's important to remember that mass production often led to inconsistent quality, meaning sharply struck, well-preserved coins from this year are far scarcer than the raw mintage suggests. From a design perspective, the 1946 wheat penny continues the iconic look created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, along with the inscriptions Liberty to the left and In God We Trust above. The small D mint mark appears just below the date, indicating its origin in Denver. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum arching above. While the design remained consistent, collectors pay close attention to strike quality, luster, and subtle variations such as die cracks, doubling, or off-center strikes that can significantly enhance value. When it comes to rarity, the real story of the 1946 wheat penny lies in condition and preservation. Circulated examples are still relatively common and often show heavy wear, scratches, and dull surfaces. However, coins that have survived in uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS65 and above, are far more difficult to find. Even more valuable are examples with full original red color, often referred to as RD by grading services. These coins retain their bright coppery shine and are highly sought after. Add in rare mint errors like doubled dies or repunched mint marks, and suddenly this coin becomes a true hidden gem. Collector demand for the 1946 wheat penny continues to grow, particularly among those trying to complete high-grade Lincoln Cent sets. While it may not be as famous as earlier key dates, its challenge lies in finding premium quality examples. Advanced collectors often compete for coins with exceptional eye appeal, strong strikes, and minimal imperfections. The combination of post-war history, affordability at lower grades, and significant upside potential at higher grades makes this coin stand out in the wheat penny series. In today's market, the value of a 1946 wheat penny can vary dramatically depending on its condition. In heavily circulated grades, these coins typically range from around $500 to $1,000. However, in better preserved conditions such as extremely fine to about uncirculated, Values can climb to $600 to $2,200. Once you enter mint state territory, the numbers become much more interesting. MS-63 examples may sell for $2,500 to $5,000, while MS-65 coins can reach $5,000 to $7,000. High-end specimens with full red luster in MS-66 or higher can command $6,000, $9,000, or even more, especially if they exhibit exceptional quality or rare minting errors. Auction records have shown that top-tier examples can surprise collectors with even higher prices. If you're looking to add a 1946 D wheat penny to your collection, there are a few important tips to keep in mind. Always prioritize condition, as even small differences in grade can have a big impact on value. Look for coins with strong detail in Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks on the reverse. Pay close attention to color. Red coins are generally more valuable than red-brown or brown examples. It's also wise to consider professionally graded coins from reputable services for higher-end purchases. You can often find these pennies in old coin jars, estate collections, or even in circulation if you're lucky, making the hunt part of the excitement. As you continue exploring the world of 1946 D wheat pennies, one of the most exciting aspects is the possibility of discovering overlooked varieties and subtle imperfections that many casual collectors might miss. Coins from this year can sometimes exhibit minor doubling in the lettering, die cracks running through the fields, or slightly off-center strikes that occurred during the minting process at the Denver facility. While these details may seem small, they can significantly increase a coin's desirability and overall market value when verified. Additionally, environmental factors such as storage conditions over the decades have played a major role in determining which coins retain their original luster and which ones toned or corroded, further separating common examples from truly exceptional pieces. The 1946 D wheat penny is a perfect example of how an everyday coin can transform into a valuable collectible when history, condition, and rarity come together. It tells the story of a nation moving forward after war while offering collectors a chance to uncover hidden value in something so small. Whether you're just starting your coin collecting journey or you're a seasoned numismatist, this coin deserves a closer look. And thirdly, the most valuable and expensive United States ultra-rare wheat penny from the year 1914 with the San Francisco S Mint mark is a coin that defies everything most people believe about value. Because at first glance it can look like nothing more than a worn, scratched, almost ruined piece of copper, dismissed as pocket change or even scrap. Yet in the right circumstances this exact coin has reached staggering prices, climbing into tens of thousands of dollars, and in extraordinary cases, pushing towards six figures, proving that even a damaged, ugly-looking coin can carry a hidden fortune waiting to be recognized by the right eyes. To understand why the 1914 S wheat penny holds such power, it is necessary to step back into the United States of 1914, a time when the nation was on the edge of transformation, with global tensions rising as World War I began overseas. Even though America had not yet entered the conflict, the economy was shifting, industries were expanding, and everyday commerce relied heavily on small denomination coins like the cent, making the production of pennies essential, yet unpredictable pressures on metal supply, mint priorities, and regional demand would quietly shape the rarity that collectors chase today. The San Francisco Mint, marked by the small but critical S beneath the date, produced a limited number of these pennies compared to other mints, with a mintage of just over 4 million coins. A figure that may sound large to the casual observer, but is remarkably low when placed beside the hundreds of millions struck in Philadelphia during other years, and when decades of circulation, loss, and damage are considered. The surviving population of 1914 S wheat pennies, especially in any collectible condition, becomes dramatically smaller, turning this coin into one of the key dates of the entire wheat penny series. What makes this coin even more fascinating is how often it survives in rough condition, with surfaces that tell a story of heavy circulation, deep scratches cutting across Lincoln's portrait, dark toning that borders on black, corrosion eating into the fields, and dates that sometimes appear faint or partially worn away. Yet instead of destroying its appeal, these marks transform the coin into a historical artifact, each imperfection acting like a record of the countless hands it passed through, the years it spent buried in drawers, jars, or even the ground itself. Collectors today are no longer driven solely by perfection, and the 1914 Sweet penny is a perfect example of how psychology shapes value, because many advanced collectors actively seek out coins that look extreme, coins that have character, coins that stand out from the typical polished examples. And when a rare date like 1914 S appears with heavy wear or unusual visual impact, it can create a powerful emotional response, turning what once looked like a damaged coin into a centerpiece of a collection. In some cases, these coins reveal unusual traits that add another layer of intrigue, such as die deterioration that creates a slightly distorted appearance, weak strikes that leave parts of the design ghost-like, or planchet imperfections that result in uneven surfaces, and even environmental exposure can create unique textures or colors that cannot be replicated, making each coin one of a kind. And while not every flaw is technically classified as a mint error, the combination of rarity and unusual appearance can significantly increase collector interest. Auction behavior has also played a major role in elevating the status of the 1914 Sweet penny, as online platforms, coin forums, and viral social media posts have introduced these coins to a broader audience, sometimes triggering intense bidding wars where emotion overtakes logic, and collectors compete not just for the coin itself, but for the story behind it, driving prices far beyond traditional expectations and redefining what such a coin can achieve in the marketplace. There are documented cases where high-grade examples of the 1914 Sweet penny have reached well over $100,000. But what is even more intriguing is the growing attention toward unusual, heavily worn specimens that carry unique visual characteristics, because under the right conditions, a compelling backstory, strong presentation, and competitive bidders, even a scratched and seemingly low-grade example could surge to shocking levels, not because it is perfect, but because it is unforgettable. Imagine a scenario where a deeply worn 1914 Sweet penny, discovered in an old estate collection, emerges with dramatic toning, visible age, and a confirmed authentic mint mark, presented in a high-profile auction where collectors recognize not just its rarity, but its individuality. And as bidding escalates, the coin transcends its condition and becomes a symbol of survival, potentially reaching an extraordinary price that few would have believed possible for a coin that once looked worthless. What makes the 1914 Sweet penny even more compelling is the way authentication and subtle details can dramatically influence its perceived value, especially because this date is one of the most counterfeited coins in the entire Lincoln Cent series, with altered mint marks and deceptive modifications appearing frequently in the market, meaning that even a scratched and worn example demands careful inspection, as the placement, shape, and depth of the S mint mark must align precisely with genuine examples. And when a heavily circulated coin is verified as authentic despite its rough condition, it can instantly transform from a questionable piece into a highly desirable rarity, intensifying both its credibility and its appeal among serious collectors. Beyond authentication, there is a deeper narrative tied to survival itself, because every 1914 Sweet penny that exists today has endured more than a century of economic change, circulation, neglect, and chance. And the ones that appear the most damaged often carry the longest and most mysterious journeys, possibly exchanged during early 20th century commerce, stored through decades of economic hardship like the Great Depression, or forgotten in places where time slowly altered their surfaces. And it is precisely this unpredictable path that gives these coins a unique presence in the collecting world, where value is not only measured in price guides, but in the undeniable sense that each worn and imperfect example is a surviving witness to history, making it far more than just a coin. The 1914 Sweet penny stands as a powerful reminder that coin collecting is not about flawless surfaces or shiny appearances, but about history, endurance, and the unpredictable nature of value, because sometimes the coins that appear the most damaged are the ones that carry the greatest stories. And for those who take the time to look closely, a scratched and forgotten penny could hold a level of significance and value that changes everything. And fourthly, the story of the 1951 Sweet penny begins in a United States that was stepping into a new kind of global influence, just a few years after World War II and deep into the early tensions of the Cold War. Industry was booming, suburban life was expanding, and everyday Americans were using coins like this without a second thought. Yet, hidden within that routine circulation were pieces struck under conditions that would later make them quietly extraordinary. The Denver Mint, working at full capacity, produced millions of pennies that year, most destined for pocket change, but a small fraction would carry subtle imperfections, overlooked at the time, that today transform them into highly sought-after collectibles. The Wheat Penny series itself, first introduced in 1909, was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose portrait of Abraham Lincoln became one of the most recognized images in American coinage. By 1951, the design was already familiar to generations, with Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the iconic wheat stalks framing the reverse. While the design remained unchanged, the quality of each strike could vary significantly depending on die condition, mint pressure, and metal flow, especially at a busy facility like Denver. These variations are where the true story of rarity begins, not in the design, but in the execution. At first glance, the 1951 D Wheat Penny may appear common, with a mintage exceeding 625 million coins. On paper, that number suggests abundance, but mintage alone never tells the full story. The real measure of rarity lies in how many coins survived in collectible condition and how many exhibit unique characteristics. Most of these pennies entered circulation immediately, where decades of wear, scratches, and environmental exposure erased their finer details. As a result, sharply struck examples with strong detail and original surfaces are far scarcer than the original production numbers suggest. When analyzing survival rates, it becomes clear that high-grade examples of the 1951 D are surprisingly elusive. Coins that avoided heavy circulation and retained their original luster are few, and even fewer display the crisp strike collectors demand. Denver-minted coins from this era are often known for weaker strikes, particularly in Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks, making fully detailed specimens highly desirable. This combination of high mintage but low high-quality survival creates a gap that drives collector interest and market value upward, especially among advanced collectors building registry sets. What truly elevates certain 1951 D pennies into the realm of serious value are the varieties and minting anomalies that occurred during production. Repunched mint marks, where the D was struck more than once in slightly different positions, are among the most notable. These occurred because mint marks were still applied by hand at the time, increasing the likelihood of misalignment. Additionally, minor doubled die effects can sometimes be observed in the lettering, caused during the die creation process when the hub impresses the design onto the die more than once at slightly different angles. While not all examples are dramatic, the most visible varieties can command significant premiums. Understanding how these errors occur adds depth to their appeal. During die preparation, immense pressure is used to transfer the design, and even a slight shift can create doubling that becomes part of every coin struck from that die. Similarly, overworked dies can develop cracks, chips, or distortions, which then appear as raised lines or unusual textures on the coin's surface. In a high-output year like 1951, dies were pushed to their limits, increasing the chances of such imperfections. These are not flaws in the traditional sense, but fingerprints of the minting process, each one telling a story of mechanical stress and human intervention. Interestingly, many of the most valuable 1951 D pennies are not pristine, but circulated examples that happen to feature rare varieties. A scratched, toned coin might seem unremarkable until a closer inspection reveals a repunched mint mark or a subtle doubled die. This contrast between condition and rarity creates a compelling dynamic where even worn coins can carry strong value if they possess the right characteristics. Collectors often search through bulk wheat pennies specifically hoping to uncover these hidden anomalies, proving that rarity can exist beneath layers of wear. Surface preservation plays a critical role in determining value. Original coins with natural toning, even if dark or uneven, are often preferred over cleaned examples that have lost their authentic texture. Cleaning can permanently damage a coin's surface, reducing its desirability despite improving its appearance to the untrained eye. Professional grading services evaluate not only wear but also surface integrity, strike quality, and overall eye appeal, assigning grades that heavily influence market value. A coin graded mint state with strong original luster can be worth exponentially more than a similar coin in circulated condition. In terms of market value, a typical 1951 D wheat penny in fine condition may only be worth a modest amount, often just a few cents above face value, while very fine and about uncirculated examples can reach into the low dollar range. However, mint state coins, especially those with strong strikes and appealing toning, can climb significantly higher, often ranging from $20 to over $100 depending on grade. Exceptional specimens with recognized varieties or near-perfect preservation have reached several $100s at auction, particularly when certified at the highest grades and sought after by registry set competitors. At the highest level, registry set competition has transformed coins like the 1951D into serious collectibles. Collectors competing for top-ranked sets seek the finest known examples, driving prices far beyond typical market levels. When a coin is identified as one of the best preserved or most visually appealing, it can achieve record-breaking results due to intense bidding. These moments highlight how condition, rarity, and demand intersect, turning what was once an ordinary penny into a standout piece of numismatic history. Another layer of fascination with the 1951 D-Wheat penny comes from how unpredictable the market can be when a truly exceptional example appears. Coins that exhibit a combination of strong strike, vibrant original luster, and a clearly visible variety can ignite intense competition among collectors, especially when they are freshly discovered and brought to auction for the first time. In some documented cases, coins that might otherwise be considered common have surged far beyond expected price ranges simply because they checked every box that advanced collectors look for, including eye appeal, technical grade, and scarcity within the highest certified populations. This is particularly true when a coin is tied to a known die variety or displays dramatic visual features like bold repunching or unusual toning patterns that make it stand out instantly. What makes this even more compelling is the ongoing possibility of discovery. Even today, collectors continue to search through old rolls, inherited collections, and dealer inventories, knowing that coins like the 1951D can still reveal overlooked varieties or underappreciated high-grade examples. The idea that a scratched and toned penny, dismissed for decades, could hold hidden value adds a sense of treasure hunting to the hobby. It reinforces the reality that rarity is often about knowledge and attention to detail rather than just age or appearance. In this way, the 1951 D-Wheat penny remains not just a collectible, but an active piece of numismatic exploration, where each coin has the potential to rewrite its own story in the hands of a careful observer. The 1951 D-Wheat penny proves that value is not always obvious at first glance. A small copper coin, often overlooked and heavily circulated, can become highly desirable when it carries the right combination of rarity, preservation, and historical significance. It is a reminder that within everyday objects, there can exist extraordinary stories, waiting to be discovered by those who take the time to look closely. And at the end, among the countless treasures that beckon from the annals of American numismatics, few coins inspire the same level of fascination and fervent pursuit as the 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark, a seemingly modest piece of copper that has ascended to the status of a holy grail for dedicated collectors. This particular coin, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which famously used no mint mark during this era, represents the twilight years of the beloved Lincoln Wheat Cent series, a run that spanned from 1909 to 1958 and serves as a tangible connection to some of the most transformative decades in United States history. While the 1957 Philadelphia issue saw a massive mintage intended for everyday commerce, the coin's immense value today is derived not from its original abundance, but from the near-impossible pursuit of finding specimens that have survived in a state of pristine, untouched perfection, a quest that captivates enthusiasts who understand that true rarity is often found not in the scarcity of existence, but in the scarcity of condition. As the final years of the Wheat Penny series command increasing attention, the 1957 no-mint mark example has emerged as a prized treasure for the connoisseur who demands the very pinnacle of quality, transforming a coin that once passed through toll booths and corner stores into a centerpiece of a world-class cabinet. The historical context of the 1957 wheat penny places it at a fascinating intersection of mid-century American prosperity and the impending end of a cherished numismatic era, a time when the nation was solidifying its role as a global superpower under President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during this period produced coins without a mint mark, this issue emerged during a time of robust industrial output, yet it also marked the penultimate year before the reverse design would be permanently changed in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial, ending a 50-year run of Victor David Brenner's iconic wheat stalk design. The coin is a direct descendant of the first Lincoln cent introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it a piece that carries the weight of that legacy, connecting the space-age optimism of the 1950s with the solemn memory of the great emancipator. For collectors, holding a pristine example of this coin is to hold a piece of a world on the brink of modernity, a numismatic artifact from the very moment when the classic wheat penny was making its final bow, rendering it a poignant and historically significant link to a rapidly fading past. In terms of its unique features, the 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark is a masterclass in early 20th century coin design, showcasing the artistic genius of Victor David Brenner on the obverse with a finely detailed, right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a likeness that remains one of the most recognizable and revered in all of world coinage. The obverse features the stately motto, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln, with liberty to his left and the date, 1957, positioned to his right, all within a field that, when found in high-grade condition, reveals extraordinary detail in Lincoln's hair, the bow tie, and the subtle texture of his clothing. The reverse is equally iconic, dominated by two simple yet evocative stalks of Durham wheat that frame the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin motto E pluribus unum arching gracefully above, a design that symbolizes the nation's agricultural roots and unity. Crafted from a bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, this coin weighs 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter, but its true visual appeal is unlocked only when found in uncirculated condition, where the original mint luster explodes across the surfaces in a cascade of cartwheel brilliance, revealing the crisp, razor-sharp strike that transforms a common date into an object of breathtaking beauty and undeniable desirability. The rarity of the 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark is a nuanced concept, as it is not defined by a low mintage. Philadelphia produced over 282 million of these cents, but rather by the extreme scarcity of the coin in the highest echelons of preservation, a distinction that places it among the most conditionally rare issues of the series. While millions were saved in rolls by the public, the vast majority exhibit the inevitable marks of bag storage, contact with other coins, and the gradual dulling of luster, making the pursuit of a specimen graded at the pinnacle of mint state, such as MS-67 red or higher, an extraordinarily challenging endeavor that many numismatists spend years pursuing. For the advanced collector, the challenge is further compounded by the specific variety known as the 1957 double die obverse, a dramatic and highly coveted error where the lettering and date show clear, distinct doubling, creating a variety that is inherently rare and commands a significant premium, adding another layer of desirability for those seeking the ultimate expression of this issue. It is this delicate interplay between overwhelming original mintage and the brutal reality of survival rates in flawless condition that drives the relentless demand, as the search for a 1957 penny that has retained its full, unblemished red luster and sharp strike becomes a true test of patience and dedication, ensuring that only a select few specimens can satisfy the most discerning collectors. When discussing market value, the 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark stands as a compelling example of how condition and variety can elevate a common coin into the realm of significant investment, with its worth ranging dramatically from a few cents in circulated grades to sums between $1,000 and $8,000 or more for the finest known examples. For the standard issue in exceptional mint state red condition, a gem graded MS-66 red might command several $100s, but the true stratospheric value begins at the MS-67 red level, where pristine surfaces, full luster, and a flawless strike can see prices soar into the low thousands, as these coins represent the absolute apex of quality for the date. However, the market value truly escalates with the presence of the 1957 double die obverse variety, where even in circulated grades these error coins are highly sought after, and an uncirculated example can easily trade within the $3,000 to $8,000 range depending on the clarity of the doubling and the overall grade, with the finest specimens at auction realizing even higher sums as they become the focal point of competitive bidding. This steady appreciation is fueled by the coin's dual appeal. It serves as both a gateway to high-grade condition collecting for the Lincoln Wheat Cent series and a cornerstone for error variety specialists, ensuring that its historical importance, combined with its undeniable visual appeal, makes it a consistently strong performer in the numismatic market, with values showing a reliable upward trajectory over the long term. For collectors seeking to acquire this numismatic treasure, the most critical piece of advice is to prioritize certification from a reputable third-party grading service, such as Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, as this guarantees the coin's authenticity and, more importantly, provides an objective assessment of its condition, which is the sole determinant of its value. When pursuing the standard 1957 issue, one must inspect the holder for the coveted red RD designation, as any trace of toning or oxidation will significantly diminish the coin's market appeal and long-term investment potential. While those seeking the double die variety should study high-resolution images to understand the specific characteristics of the doubling before committing to a purchase. The 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark, particularly when found in flawless uncirculated condition or bearing the dramatic double die obverse variety, represents the perfect alchemy of history, artistry, and condition-based rarity that defines the pinnacle of American numismatics, standing as a prized treasure that captures the enduring legacy of the Lincoln Cent series. It is a coin that offers a profound connection to the closing years of the beloved wheat penny design, serving as a tangible piece of a bygone America, while simultaneously representing a savvy and rewarding investment that has demonstrated remarkable resilience and growth. As such, it remains a cornerstone for any serious collection of United States coinage, a shining example of how a humble piece of pocket change can, through the lens of numismatic appreciation, be transformed into a priceless artifact of lasting value and appeal to collectors around the world.